welcome Rachel LaForce.
Woo!
Yeah. Why haven't you gotten triggered yet?
Like, I didn't come this far to only come this far.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
For sure.
And so I know that, like, what I really want, the stages I want to be on, more importantly, the people I want to speak to.
Yep.
The people I want to speak to are so close.
Yeah. Hey, what's going on, man? It's your boy Rondell with two N's. Welcome back to another episode of Finally Sober. I'm excited for this one. As always, here on Finally Sober, I like to let people know before we get started, this podcast is a podcast for me to sit and talk with a few people that I know in the entertainment industry that have gotten sober. Me personally, I've been sober for a year and a half, and I love it here. Love sobriety. Love this space. It's amazing. And I've been in the entertainment business for 15 years, so me sitting down with other people in the entertainment business that I can relate with, that have been in the same struggles I've been in, it feels good. And I hope that you guys can relate to them as well, even if you're not in the business. So this is what this podcast is for. And there's 3 tiers of sobriety here on Finally Sober, okay? You got sober-ish, you got sober, and then you got sober AF. Me, I'm sober AF. If you're soberish, maybe you drink like once every blue moon and you don't do any drugs. If you're sober, maybe you're just getting started, getting in the sober community. But those are the 3 tiers in my opinion. Now, you might have your own, but that is mine. So, welcome to Finally Sober. If this is your first time, welcome. If this is your second time, glad you're back and hope you stay. I'm excited for this guest today because I just did a event, our first Sober AF event at her venue, actually, Skewed Orbit Studios. And she is a comedian. She runs her own shows. Very funny, very talented. A mom, a wife. I don't know if you want me to say that, but
no, please let them know. She wears many hats. Yeah. Okay, so yeah,
she is out here. I want you guys to welcome Rachel LaForce.
Woo!
Yeah.
They're losing their mind. Have a seat. Have a seat. No, thank you. I was so excited when you messaged, and you were so courteous because you messaged with my husband.
Yeah, 100%.
It was a very courteous.
Yes. I'm definitely not talking to nobody's wives.
No,
but
I love that. I was like, there's a story there. There's something that's happened here before. No, I'm like so excited to be here.
Me too. I'm very happy that you're here.
Yeah.
I'm very. And
before
we get into your sober journey and your sober story, I want to talk about your entertainment side for a second.
Okay.
Comedian.
Yes.
You actually are owner of a studio that a lot of comedians have ran shows through.
Yes.
So let's talk about it. When did you start comedy? How'd you get into comedy? What made you want to become an entertainer?
Yeah, I was one of the ones that, like, I was just born this way.
Okay, got you.
Like, I'm one of those, like, whenever, like, at a dinner party or something with muggles, and they're like, oh, tell me about comedy. I'm like, no, if I woke up tomorrow and I wanted to be a dental hygienist, it'd be the best fucking day of my life. You know what I mean? I'm like, this is an affliction that I suffer from, where I'm like, where's the stage? No, I danced and sang, and like I was really doing theater most of my life. And I always liked comedy. I developed being funny, as a defense mechanism, as we all, as it turns out. But it wasn't until right before I left for college. So I wanted to go to Tisch at NYU. Okay. Shout out. And then I went to Second City in Chicago.
Oh, shout out to Second City.
And so I was exposed to that, and I was like, I don't know what the fuck that is, but like I want to do that. So I changed course. I went to school in Chicago at Columbia College, and I went for musical theater. Hold the applause. And then I was doing musical theater, and our director who was the head of Second City for like many, many years, old school. And he pulled me aside, and he was a huge stoner, and he goes, I have good news and I have bad news. And he said, the bad news is that your voice will not hold up for 8 shows a week.
Wow.
And he said, but the good news is you are funnier than everyone here.
Nice.
And he was like, you need to switch your major and focus on things at Second City. And that day forth, I was like, this was like the king knighting you. And I was like, fuck yeah, if he said I can do it,
I could do it.
Then I can do it. And so I never looked back. So I did Second City, and I toured. So I was mostly doing improv and sketch. And then I got my agents in LA because I toured with Second City for many years. Got agents in LA, moved to LA. Not a lot of sketch and improv comedy happening. There's UCB obviously, and there's Groundlings, but there was just a lot of opportunities that was drying up. So by proxy, I was like, okay, when you got nothing to lose. So I was like, I guess stand up is where it is.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh, yeah, I enjoy talking all by myself. This is really fun.
I
like
don't
doing
need
this.
anybody.
Yeah. And that's how I met Alex, my husband.
Yes.
And then, I had never really met anybody with that much vision. You meet a lot of people that are hustling, but not a lot of people who can see the end goal, not a lot of people that can see entertainment trends, that can see what else can I do beyond this thing. It's not the 1980s anymore where you'd line up, and it's like, okay, I'm going to get a spot at this place or this place. Do that.
Yeah.
Okay,
still,
hear me? Do
still,
that.
Still,
do that.
Still. If you're new, still go hit the mics and stuff,
do
please.
that. But at the same time, we had kind of had our 10,000 hours at that point, and we were like, okay, so what else do we need to do? So we had started Skewed Orbit originally as a production company, and then we got really serious about it. We were still in LA. I'm from here.
Oh, okay.
So that's how we ended up back
here. What part? What part of it?
I'm from East Cobb.
Oh, you're from Cobb. Okay,
yeah.
Okay,
So
nice.
that's where I'm from.
All right.
And then I was in Chicago for 11 years, LA for 8, and then the pandemic happened, and we just saw the way the clubs weren't coming back. We saw the way that the industry was changing, and I was like, dude, we need to get out now while we have a little bit of time to get reestablished.
For sure.
So that was the goal here. We were so blessed to find the Studioplex building because we had been looking and looking. Nothing was in our budget. We couldn't find anything. And then that dropped in. I cried in the parking lot.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Because I
was like, this is an answered prayer, where it's like, maybe you touch on this higher power stuff with people that are sober too. And so that was it for me where I'm like, listen, I have due diligently followed every fucking thing, and I'm like, and I'm going in circles here.
Yeah. God, so, where are you at?
Yeah. I'm like, this is no longer fun. Okay. So finding the Studioplex building was like, fuck yeah, we're in the right place.
And dude, that
been open a year, just about a year.
Oh, y'all have only been open a year?
Yes,
I did not know that.
Yes, sir.
Well, if y'all ever need a place to go, it's a rent. It's not just for stand-up. It's not just for shows. They rent it out to everybody. So Skewed Orbit Studios, y'all go check it out. We'll put the link down in the description after the show. So how long have you been in the entertainment business?
I'm professionally, 15, almost 20 years, probably.
Okay. Oh,
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Sheesh. Okay.
Yeah, it's been a minute.
That's been a long minute.
It's been a while.
Hey, and being in the entertainment business that long, man, it comes with that struggle.
Yeah, it does. And that's the thing. Like, there's been a lot of high highs, a lot of low lows, and sobriety has been the thing that created a lot of clarity for me. And so, I was always like, there's a children's book called Are You My Mother? And the whole thing is that it's this animal that's going around, are you my mother? Are you my mother? And that was a lot of what I was doing of like, do you like me? Do you like me? Do you like
validation.
Me? And so I wasn't really fucking saying anything. I was good. The talent was there, which was got me in TV or movies or the different things I've done. But I'm not surprised now that I never caught that momentum, even when the momentum was in the room.
For sure.
Okay?
100%.
I was not the person that was able to carry it through. So now I'm just like, for hire and really fucking stoked because I know now I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be.
100%.
I know what I'm doing. I know my voice. I know what projects I want, what I don't want. So I finally feel like I'm standing on 2 decades worth of experience
preparation. Yeah. And how long so you actually, I know how long you've been sober for the people. Sober for 7 years. 8?
It'll be 8 years in January.
8 years in January. Come on now. Let's go. Now you are the first person on the pod that has the longest sobriety.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Everybody else has been like a couple years, couple months.
What
but you are 8 going on 8 years. Now, does it get with sobriety? I know there's a misconception that sobriety gets easier the longer you go. Does it get easier? To me, it does and it doesn't. But to you, does sobriety has it gotten easier or has it gotten harder the more you've been in the sober journey?
Oh, I got to close my eyes for this answer. I think it's how do you separate it, right?
Okay.
For me, sobriety just means not drinking.
Yes.
Or if you're a drug of choice or sex or porn, like whatever your thing is, it's just that you're not doing that
For
thing.
sure.
But if you're also not doing the work, then all you're doing is not drinking.
Hello.
All you're not doing is sleeping with people that you have no business sleeping with. All you're doing is not doing that thing. But that doesn't mean that anything's changing. So I would say that like staying sober gets easier. Like me not drinking, on occasion, holiday parties or whatever, I'm like, that's a bummer. Be nice to check out for the next 4 hours, and wake up with my makeup on. But, I guess I'll drive home responsibly.
So real.
That sucks. Of course. My life is hard. I run 2 businesses. I got 2 kids. I got a husband. I'm living as my higher self, so to speak. That shit's not easy. I would love to check out. But that's easier. That's kind of like whatever, because now I see the fruits of my labor. I have all this shit because I don't drink, so it's easier to keep not drinking,
For
right?
sure.
It's evidence-based. But I would say the work gets harder. Because every time, but you're prepared for the hard. Like when I first got sober and everything falls apart, I was like, what in the letter of motherfuck?
Yes.
You're just dragging yourself through every day, looking at other people
Come
walking along, and you're
dude.
like, oh, is that it? Oh, you're having a fucking good day? Oh, are you like happy? And because you're experiencing the world completely differently.
100%.
You are experiencing it raw. And I think now every time, as I define it, I level up or I'm ready for the next thing and I come out the other side. Now I'm doing the hard with evidence that I can do hard.
Yes.
So I feel more confident, but this shit's still fucking hard.
It's very hard.
Anybody who's like, everything's good now, don't trust that person.
Yes, that is the biggest lie that people will have when they get sober. It's all like fruits and cherries and flowers and such. No, this shit is hard still, man.
Yeah.
It never gets easier. I think one thing that people don't realize is that once you get sober, life doesn't get hard. Life just opens up at that point. Now life is open and you're able to see what life really is, versus when we're in addiction, your mind was clouded. You didn't see the struggles that you were going through because you drank them away or you did drugs to succumb them. You didn't see any of this. Now you have to head on face every single thing. So it is a little harder in a sense,
But I will say, it's like I always say, and this is not a Rachel LaForce original, okay, but it's like choose your hard.
Yeah.
Like, what loop do you want to be in? You want to be in the spiral that like you're gonna keep, like shit's gonna keep popping off for you, and your life is gonna be more abundant, and the things you never thought you could actually have but you secretly wanted materialize. That hard is fucking worth it. But it's like waking up hungover or like whatever your situation is and being like, I'm never going to do that again. And then finding yourself in that place again. That shit's just as fucking hard.
100%. Hey, what's going on? This podcast is sponsored by Teasy. Teasy is the THC CBD non-alcoholic beverage, tasty beverage for you guys. It is amazing. It is in Savvy Provisions right now here in Atlanta, Georgia. You guys definitely go and get it. Shout out to Teasy, man. Peace. Yeah. Now, did you? What was your? I've never asked anybody this on the pod, so you're the first person I'm asking this. What was your thing? What was your addiction?
Booze for sure.
Okay, alcohol. Okay.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, just a booze hound. But the harder thing was, and I always like to speak to this because I think a lot of people, like getting sober for me was a journey only because. Yes, I knew I was blacking out. I knew that internally I knew shit was not like copacetic, right? Like this is not okay. But I was super high functioning. I wasn't getting DUIs.
Me neither.
I wasn't sleeping with a bunch of people. I wasn't acting a fool, but like I said, I wasn't able to hold that momentum or those opportunities I had because there was no self-worth. There was no self-trust. Now, I didn't know that. Like if you were like, Rachel, but why do you keep drinking all the time if you don't like it? I would have been like, what is that question? I wouldn't have been able to actually process that. So that was actually what I think was really dark about my own drinking was I wasn't even aware of my own sickness.
I do understand that. No, I do understand. And did you get sober? You got 2 children. Did you get sober before your children?
Oh, thank God. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. My kids are 2.5 and 4.
They never saw Rachel LaForce.
No, I mean, listen, she was a good time. Like, I wasn't real sloppy. I mean, occasionally you'd get way too drunk or whatever, but like, I think that was more of just, that could happen to anybody. It was just more where my life was always, there was a gate is how it felt spiritually. Like I was never going to be able to go past that gate.
Yeah.
Because alcohol, I'm also highly intuitive, so I receive a lot of information all of the time. I also didn't know that was the reason I was drinking. If I go into a bar and I'm picking up all this stuff and I'm talking to somebody and they're only talking to me because they see the person behind me, or like I'm picking up on all the layers of what's happening in a social situation, and that's still really difficult and hard for me, but I trust myself to be able to handle it. It's like, oh, that's a lot of why I was drinking too, was just to dampen those things out. So I always like to say that for people that are sober curious of like, if you're thinking about it or you're like, I think I have a problem. It's like, if you think you have a problem, you probably have a problem.
You definitely got a problem.
You know,
100%.
Like people who aren't holding themselves back from alcohol aren't asking those questions.
Yeah, for sure. Now, with getting sober, I know a lot of people, and this happened to me, as soon as I got sober, like, it was like life turned up a little bit as far as like the loudness of life. You know what I mean? Like everything was just heightened. So what for you, what emotion is the loudest right now? Like now, the emotion that you finally have, you have to face. What is the loudest emotion for you right now?
Judgment.
Ah,
I think I'm only going to say this. It feels like a safe space. This
oh
is
no,
going
very
out
safe.
to a lot of
It's
people.
very safe.
A
Very
lot
safe.
of people are going to see this. And so well, here's the point. Because what I want to say, and then I have to put all these precursors around what I want to say, right? Rather than just being honest. The honesty is like, I'm fucking great at what I do.
100%.
I'm great.
Yeah.
And
I love it.
But the difference is like, and whether it was from Christian where I don't think this is not what they meant to instill in me, but what I took away was, if you're confident, then you're cocky.
Yeah.
Right. And as the way I define it now, I'm like, yeah, but it is my job. Ooh, my whole body's lit up. It is my job to be great.
Yeah.
I was gifted this to go and be great, to help other people. So not only have I been doing myself a disservice, it's not cocky. It is your job. It is your job to serve and to be of service with whatever it is that makes you great. And that could be cleaning teeth. You are the best dental hygienist this side of the Mason-Dixon line. And to that, I say you get in there. But, and so I think that's really been the thing that I've had to sit with as I go into this next journey of visibility online, visibility in spaces, and going, this is what I have to offer, and I think it's pretty fucking great. Now, it may not be for you.
Yeah.
And that's okay.
Yeah.
And that's the self-judgment. So that's really what I'm being met with is like, it was never real. And even when you are great, nobody's going to like you anyway, And so I think that's the other thing that sobriety does for me is all these things that you thought were a monster and really it was a myth.
Yes.
That it's just not real.
None of this is real. None of this is
well, we could get into that, right?
Yeah,
what is reality? Is this a table?
Yeah.
But that's a different podcast. But no, I hear you.
You make a valid point though. None of what we were going through it meant nothing.
Yeah.
And I think when I got sober, everything that I thought meant anything, I was like, oh, I really don't give a fuck about that shit at all. Like hanging out with my family, giving love to my friends, like actually being present in the moments that I'm supposed to be present at. This is what I'm here for. Like you said, I'm a service of God, and I'm a firm believer that I was put on this earth, and my purpose is to entertain, and my purpose is to make people laugh, and my purpose is to make people feel better. That's one of the main reasons why I do this podcast is to let people know, hey, bro, I'm in your boat. I'm in your shoes. Come with me. I can, if you're feeling bad, come on this side. I'll entertain you and I'll make you feel better. Regardless of how I'm feeling, I want you to feel good. You know what I mean? And that was the biggest thing for me is like coming to and understanding none of this matters, man.
Yeah.
It's all a facade. And that was hard to understand because my biggest emotion is judgment as well.
Yeah.
That's something that I don't do well with because I think I'm good at what I do as well, but I don't want to come off as, oh, Rondell thinks he's better than us, or oh, Rondell thinks he's this, and it's like, I kind of do though, man. Yeah. Like now that I'm sober, I kind of do think I'm better. I'm good.
Yeah,
and
you're
I'm
like,
better.
holy shit, I was sleeping on what?
Come on, dog. Like I do think I'm good.
But I hear that, and I also, that's the other thing I've had to rectify, right? And like, again, this is not an original thought, but it's like, people will view you based on their life experience.
Yeah.
Period. And some people will see themselves, some people will see aspiration, and some people will see the antithesis of what they want to be. Some people, and that's what I think, that's the biggest piece I've had to let go of if I truly believe that me being in my gifts is me, for lack of a better word, like being God on, or like, is not that I'm God, relax.
Yeah.
Okay. That's, clip that. But that is my holiness.
Yeah.
That's what I'm here to do. Then that also takes me out of the equation.
100%.
And I think that's a really big thing. Because a lot of us with, substance issues or just wanting to check out in general, it's a lot of that is ego.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of that comes with ego. And the one thing I want to tap in though is if there is somebody who's watching this and they're like, oh, it's all make-believe, like I'm in so much emotional pain, I do want to acknowledge that for you, that the emotional pain is what's real. Yeah. And I think, even 8 years later, I had a very honest conversation, vulnerable moment, very honest conversation with my dad last night in my kitchen before my kids got home. And I started crying. I mean, really deep, where I was like, where the fuck did this come from? And I think that's the other part is like the allowing. Mm-hmm. And like when you can allow it. And I think that's like, fucking cool.
Yeah, I
Like,
think it's dope.
how cool that, like, because otherwise it's like 8 years sober, now I just don't get to drink.
Yeah.
What a bummer, you know? Like, at least you're like, oh, there's still more there. There's still
100%.
more that I'm excavating. There's still more that I'm like healing and expressing, and isn't that fucking cool?
It's awesome. It's awesome. Now, in addiction, I know we go through a lot of lying. I lied a shit ton when I
Okay.
was in my addiction. I lied a lot. And is there anything in particular that you can think of that you lied to your fan base, lied to people that that you loved? Is there something that was something big that you lied about? And it's like, shit, I can't believe I did that shit.
I'm sure there was.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah,
I'm
yeah,
not
yeah,
a
yeah,
patron
yeah,
saint.
yeah, yeah.
But the first thing I thought of was just it was more of all the ways I lied to myself.
Ah,
You know? Oh, I didn't get that. I didn't get that role, but I was in the callback. I was in the room. I was with producers. No, you were fucking hungover.
mm,
That's why you didn't get it.
mm.
You know, not saying like, again, Hollywood's fucking wild. And I've been blessed to do a handful of movies and TV, but I know the rooms I was in versus what I was getting. And I know you put me in those rooms now. We're walking out. We're going,
Oh,
you've already bought me a coffee. You know what I mean?
booking.
Right. Right. And that's because I know now there's ownership when I walk in those rooms and
Yeah.
I'm meeting those people. And I also don't want to fucking waste anybody's time.
Yeah, I wanna be
Like,
in there.
even if I'm not the person for this, like, I want to make sure that you're like, I don't know what that was, but like, we're going to find that
Yeah,
shit
yeah, yeah,
later,
yeah,
you
yeah,
know?
yeah. We need her for something.
Yes.
We need her for something.
Yes.
We need her for something.
And that was really where I was lying to myself and I talk about this a lot in my own work, both on stage and all the places that I share. And I say that a lot of, you'll be shocked how many ways that you hide from yourself.
Mm.
And that was really one of them, because people will come to me for, consultations or whatever. And they're like, no, but I'm trying and I'm doing all the things. I'm like, okay, let's peel back a few layers here. Because if you were really doing all the things, it would be working.
Come on now.
It would be working. So that's the first thing I think about is really all of the ways that I lied to myself.
Yeah,
And that's fucking painful.
I did the same. I did the same thing. I lied to myself even at my lowest point, and I want to bring this up next is the rock bottom moment. That was my biggest lie to myself. Is like, oh man, I'm not at this moment. Like, no, I can get up out of this. I don't have a problem. Oh no, I'm this. It's like, no, dog, you're at rock bottom, brother. You're here. You're in a mental hospital. Like, bro, this is rock bottom, brother. So where was your rock bottom? What was it? What made you go, I got this. Rachel, you have to change. This has to be the moment you change. What was your rock bottom at?
Well, I always frame mine for people as being a middle bottom.
Oh, okay.
And here's why I think it's important is most people will wait for a rock bottom.
Ooh.
And there's a lot of people where it's like, not living up to your potential should be enough for you to be like, there's a trending meme right now that's like, repeat the loop or break the cycle, repeat the loop or break the cycle. And as soon as I saw that, I was like, oh, that's how I felt that morning that I woke up. But I definitely had, as I define it, like a catalyst moment, right? We all have that. So whether it is like you lose everything, you end up in a mental institution, you lose all your money, you lose your kids, like sometimes it's real. And also like, depending on like our privilege, our background, what happened, like what may be a rock bottom or a middle bottom. So that's the other reason I like to generalize this language.
Okay, that's a great point.
Because I was like, let's also like open up the circle of like, I think sometimes when language is important, obviously, it defines things for us.
That's a great point.
But I think that's important because I may be talking with somebody else. Like I went to jail 5 times. I'd be like, yeah, that's a rock bottom the first time you go. But if you're in a family where a lot of people are going to jail and that's just kind of a normal thing that happens, that flag is not going to be the same for you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So for me, it was, I was living with somebody. My joke is we were in a relationship, I thought. He comes home and he's like, hey, like 2 weeks before he had bought me this couch. And I'm like, oh my God, we're really taking off. And that was my thing, is picking people that were emotionally unavailable. Friends, relationships, is just living in this own circle of chaos and being like, again, like this is so unfair. No, the fuck it's not.
Yeah.
You're just with people who can't be there for you. This is a very fixable fucking thing.
Leave them.
Right. Like this is not hard.
Yeah.
It's actually pretty clear. And so he was like, hey, I don't want to do this, whatever. And so of course at that time I'm like, oh my God, because I'm 30, I don't know, 33 or something, which as a woman, you're like, oh, my youth, And then I had a friend who was supposed to be moving to Los Angeles with her boyfriend of 6 years. And the day before she got on a plane, he broke up with her.
Damn.
So she called and was like, hey, can I come stay with you? I'm like, sure. So then the night after she arrives was when my boyfriend broke up with me. So now the three of us are heartbroken, not talking, and sharing a home.
Yeah.
Okay. And for reasons, we had to live together in this house. Shout out Highland Park in LA. We lived in Highland Park and we had to share this house together for 50 days.
Oh,
50.
no.
Okay. And I luckily had enough wherewithal where I was like, this is going to be painful, but I don't want it to be dramatic. I'm just not going to drink while I'm here.
Okay.
And after you don't drink, for 50 days. I'm like, you start hearing shit.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh my God, those are my fucking feelings. Apparently. So I didn't say to anybody like, oh, I'm getting sober. Like I probably wasn't until I was a year sober that everybody was like, oh, dude, is this like a thing for you? I'm like, yeah, no, I'm not fucking drinking. And I, in some ways I do identify with, calling myself an alcoholic. I really identify more with the idea of like, there was a lot of, trauma is not an Olympics, but I do like to frame it a little bit. So I say trauma light,
True.
that was happening. And also just a lot of generational healing.
Mhm.
So I was kind of the second tier of some work that my parents had done. And I'm an only child. So just a lot of stuff that was happening for me that I couldn't quite make sense of the world because internally what I knew to be true versus what I was being told was being true, there was a gap.
Yeah.
And so I had to wrestle with what is that gap. And so a lot of drinking for me was muting that gap.
Got you.
Was muting that, whether that greatness, that intuition, that inner knowing, because I'm like, well, everybody else seems to think that it's okay. I guess it's me.
You.
And when that gap makes you feel like an outsider rather than powerful, you're going to do anything you can to drown that
100%. 100%.
And mine was just Jameson. So that was mine. Shout out.
Shout out.
So, so it was just kind of a combination of a lot of those things were happening, that all of a sudden I was like, okay, I'm 33. I've been out here for a minute. Like, what am I doing? Oh, that's what it was. So we move out of the house, the first apartment we move into, and my kitchen catches on fire.
Oh, wow. Just thing after thing. Good God.
So I remember sitting outside. I talk about it in my TED Talk. Go watch my TED Talk. And I'm sitting on the ground and I remember all the smoke just bellowing out of my apartment. And I'm like, the universe was literally like, oh no, we're taking everything.
Yeah. You get nothing.
We're taking everything. And I called my mom and I told her what happened. She said, well, what can you do for you? And I said, well, I guess I can go on a walk. That was what happened originally, was why the kitchen caught on fire was I was making myself tacos because I had called her and she said, you got to do something to take care of you. My mom's a therapist. And I said, oh, I guess I can make myself tacos. Made myself tacos. The kitchen burns down.
Oh,
so that's when you're looking at God going, you've left me astray.
Yeah. You don't want anything for me.
So I call her back and I go, you're not going to believe this one. And she said, what can you do? I said, well, I can go for a walk. On my walk, my agent calls me and drops me.
God! Hit after hit. At
that point, I'm like, there's nothing left for me. And so it was almost the sure will of like anger that broke essentially what felt like a spell for me.
Yeah.
Where I was like, clearly, like it was like I had to have no vision towards what was next in order for me to go, fuck it, I'm going to do everything differently.
I got you.
Like it had to be that aggressive. And, I talk about that with catalysts that sometimes it's like one thing will happen, but it does. So although mine was a middle bottom, meaning like overall I was safe. Generally I was safe. I had a place to stay. I had, I still had a job, energetically, spiritually, emotionally, physically. That's a rock bottom.
Yeah.
Like, where the fuck are you going to go?
100%.
What else can we take from you in order for you to be like, I don't want to do this? And the cost of knowing, I'm always like, vision without action is wasted potential. And I think I was finally at that place where I was like, I have to own that everything that's happened to me up until this point is mostly of my own doing.
For sure.
And how do I want to unravel that? And it was, that just keep swimming.
Yep.
Just keep swimming.
Keep going as far as you can. 100%.
I mean, today in the morning, getting 2 kids out of the house and going, just keep swimming, just keep swimming. Sure. It's Friday. Get the fuck, grab your backpack,
let's
get the
run
fuck in the car.
Let's run it. I got shit. I got places to be.
And it's like, oh, their emotional well-being. And you're like, do you need support right now? And you're like, I don't, who needs support? Mom.
Yeah.
Get the fuck in the car.
I need it. Now, with those kids, and it's funny that you have children. And I think a lot of moms that have gotten sober, like, I'm like, oh shit, you're still sober and you got these kids. How do you stay sober with all of this going on, with your business, with, your career as an actor, as an actress and a comedian, with 2 kids, with a husband, with all these things? why haven't you, it's crazy I'm asking it like this, why haven't you gotten triggered yet?
Well,
And that's a wild question to ask like that. But
no, listen, ask her. She's triggered. She's triggered. She is triggered.
How do you stay sober is my question.
I think now I want to see how great I really am.
Mm.
And I know, again, that sounds egotistical, I guess, but it's this part of like, I didn't come this far to only come this far.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
For sure.
And so I know that like what I really want, the stages I want to be on, more importantly, the people I want to speak to.
Yep.
The people I want to speak to are so close.
Yeah.
And they're closer than they've ever been before.
I say the same thing.
And I'm like, and my whole body's lit up. It's like, I owe it not only to myself, but to them.
Mm-hmm.
Because at the end of the day, we're on a spinning rock in an infinite universe. We don't really know how we got here, and we don't really know where we go. And so none of it matters.
None of it.
None of it matters. And so the thing that does matter is the way in which we connect. And the more that I connect with other people, like even when you're like, hey, I want you to come, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so excited to just like connect and be like, yes, me too.
Yeah.
Right? Like I used to think hearing a big laugh on stage was this feeling of recognition of, oh, good, I'm good at what I do. And now I hear that big laugh and I go, thank God I'm not alone.
Yes.
Because you're laughing out of recognition.
Mm-hmm.
And so, how I stay sober amongst the craziness of my life. I mean, part of it is a benefit of like, I am so tired by the time my day is done and I lay those children down. I couldn't even pour a glass of wine. You know what I mean? I would be asleep by the time it's poured because it's a proper glass. Okay. It's a proper pour. So, even if I wanted to, and I will also say that placebo does a lot.
Yeah.
Making yourself a little mocktail because a lot of it is a ritual and a lot of it is the ritual of calming yourself down. So, which is a whole podcast for a different day, but like somatics, nervous system work, like when you work with your body, there are other things that you can do to learn to release those things so that you feel 10 toes down without having to have 4 Miller Lights.
100%. 100%.
No,
100%. Now, do you miss, I don't want to ask, do you miss drinking?
Of course.
Do you grieve? Because some days I do grieve getting drunk. I do grieve my drunk self. I mean, my man Dex will tell you, bro, I've had many a nights super fun. Jason will tell you, I've had many a night super fun. And sometimes I do grieve those nights a little bit. But do you ever have a moment of like weakness where it's like, damn, man, I do miss that shit. And like, do you miss the old you in any way?
Of course. I miss having I miss not being responsible.
Come on.
I miss that.
Yeah.
Where that's the other thing of like the more and more that I build my presence, I build, I have people that I pay.
Yeah.
It's like I'm responsible to them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like mama's got to work because I got to feed you,
Yeah.
And so I think, it is that of like great responsibility, and it's like if you want a big presence, that's a great responsibility. I think people think that like people who build platforms or whatever else, it's this glamorous thing. And it's like, I mean, a little bit, sure, materialism is great, but for the most part, it's fucking hard work. That's how shit gets paid. That's how the lights stay on. That's so the responsible Rachel misses the freedom of like going out and dancing. But I think that more than like getting drunk, because getting drunk for me was like, that's just more of a, lack of a better word, like it's not true. The idea that like I miss being drunk is false, but I miss the sense of like no responsibility.
Yeah.
That like I could go and get drunk and then sleep in and walk to brunch. And so it's really more of like, I think I miss being young. I think I miss that. I definitely think I've been sober long enough now that like, of course, yes, I would love to check out and all of those things, but I have enough tools and stuff now that like, I also don't get to that trigger point anymore because there's been 7 doors I've had to go through before I get to that one.
100%.
Versus when you're in addiction, you're just like door 1 and blacked out for 4 days. Or like whatever, whatever your things are, there are no, it's like driving stick. Like there's no, just 0 to hero.
Yeah.
And when you've been sober, you've been, working whatever coping mechanisms and things that you have, there's so many steps before you get there that,
Did you go through AA? How did you go through AA? Did you do 12 steps or
I
did you?
did not.
Okay.
Now, I was raised by a therapist, was in a lot of therapy.
Okay.
It actually helped my first boyfriend in college. He was a very bad addict. Luckily, he's sober now, many years. Big wig in
Hey.
Hollywood. Shout out, shout out.
Yeah,
He's doing
yeah.
great. He's doing great. But so I had a lot of experience of seeing that, of witnessing that, which was also what was hard for me about accepting my own sobriety, because I was helping all these other people. Oh, look how I'm helping all these
Yeah,
other
yeah,
people. Oh,
yeah.
they're so sick. Look, aren't I such a, and it's like,
Yeah.
no, you're sick too,
Yeah.
dude.
You don't even know it, yeah.
Yeah, but, yeah, I think that it was just through therapy, and again, I had this sense of, like, a spiritual awakening and that I was truly able to hear myself and, like, awoke to that, where, that kind of gave me everything I needed to know. So
Oh.
I think AA is so supportive for a myriad of reasons, and any way that you get sober is like, hell yeah, you know
Yeah,
what I
it's
mean?
true,
It's like,
true.
well, however way you stay sober, whatever, you know what I mean? Like, I think there's a lot of times we judge it or we look at other people. It's like, no, dude, if you made it through another day of choosing you and
Yep.
choosing clarity, you fucking won, you know?
100%,
But
100%.
I think it's just the background that I had within therapy and knowing how to talk about my feelings or what I needed to do, that I was able to kind of figure out the journey on my own a little bit.
I like that. Now, do you find, again, in sobriety, I found joy. Well, one, did you ever have any vice after you got sober? Because this is a big thing. I was a very much so chocolate, sweets.
Mm,
I ate so much candy and sweets when I got sober. It made no sense. And I didn't know that in sobriety, once you get sober, you are replacing all of the sugar that you've been
yes.
putting in your body over the past years. Now that you're sober, that's all you have to replace it with something.
Yeah.
And oh, my sugar cravings were ridiculous. What was a strange craving that you had after you got sober? Like something that you were like, I've never liked this shit before in my
I
life.
was hiking. She was doing a
Oh,
lot of
really?
hikes.
Oh, really?
Mama was out. She was hiking the mountains, you know, just like, just keep fucking going. It probably was. It was really hiking. Like, I would not identify as athletic, but I have a lot of athletes in my family. So
Uh-huh.
like I can move I could, like, you know, I could play ball, so to speak.
Yeah,
And you
yeah,
wouldn't
yeah.
be like, who is that person? But that was definitely the thing for me, was like movement, but it was also when I started to feel the way that I feel my feelings or receive like intuitive information is in my body.
Ah.
So which again was drowning it out with
Mhm.
alcohol, you know, and so not having that movement was a huge thing because I was like, I gotta get
Yeah.
this shit out. So hiking was a big one, but I was an IPA drinker, so same thing. I was
Ah.
like popping Reese's cups like it
Oh
was
my
nobody's business.
gosh, bro, that was the
Yeah, dude.
worst.
Yeah,
It was the worst.
I know.
I thought I was tripping, and I was like, "Yo, I need to research this." And I called the doctor, the hospital that I went to when they gave me my diagnosis of like because I almost died. That was my reason of stopping. I
Yeah.
almost died. I was going through like liver failure or whatever, and I called him. I said, "Hey, man, is this normal, man? I'm eating like a copious amount of like sweets, man. I don't think this is right." He was like, "Dude, you're gonna be eating sweets for a few years, brother. Like
It's
this
like,
is
go to
no."
Costco, get
Yeah.
the Costco bag, my
He was
friend.
like, he
You're
was like,
locked
"I'd
in.
rather you eat this, probably not eat so much, but I'd rather you eat this than drink." So I was like,
Yeah.
"Oh, cool, okay, cool. This is pretty dope." But yeah,
Yeah.
I went through a phase of just nothing but sweets, and I still have my sweet phase. Here's the thing. That's what brings me joy now, though, in my sobriety journey. What brings you joy now? Like there, and all my things are just non-glamorous. They're just all mundane, stupid things like pickleball. That brings me the most joy in my life. I love it. Play it every day. What brings you joy to keep you sober?
Oh, probably my kids. I mean, I find joy in a lot of things, but, like, watching kids learn how to do new things,
Mm.
you're like, "Our brains are
Yeah,
incredible!"
yeah, yeah.
Because you put them to sleep, and they don't know this thing, and then they wake up, and you're like, "Where the fuck did you learn that
True.
word?" Or what, you know? And so I think seeing them navigate the world and learn, and I think in a lot of ways I've felt alone for a lot of my life. I still feel that way a lot. I kind of feel like an alien a lot of the times, like, which I think is why I like being on stage, because I'm like, I feel like I'm always a purveyor of the human experience and what other people are doing.
Yeah.
And it's like when everybody, you know, comes to see me, I'm like, okay, this is
Yes,
a crowd I can handle being in because
yes.
you guys are all looking at me. So I think really just like having my just kind of like little tribe and being like, we're together and we're in this. And I think it's finally started. I've been trying to come up with new ways to talk about it on stage because until your kids, like my youngest is 2.5. So now you have like a human.
Yeah, you gotta.
Before that, I was like, what are we doing, moms?
Yeah.
Like, this is, it's so much giving. They're not giving anything back,
yeah.
you know? And I'm like, I'm a pretty funny gal, guys.
This joke is hilarious.
Okay? Yeah. This is good. We're having a good time. Nothing. Crickets. But now, you know, that they're developing a little bit. But I would say that, and I also just think that, like, connecting with people in this way, like authentically connecting with people brings me just like, mwah, is so much like, I'm like, this is what it's about. For me, at least.
No, 100%. 100%. Now, I want to play, we're towards the end. I want to play a game with you, though.
Okay.
And I feel like you would be the right person to play. Oh, this is a new one? Oh, you wrote one. You took one out? Oh, okay. Oh, okay. All right. Word. But before we get into that, I want to ask this last thing. You are a mom, you have 2 children, and before I ask this, I want to let you know this. I hope none of this ever happens because nobody wants to see their kid go through addiction or anything. If your kids just so happen to go down the route that you went down into of addiction, how do you prevent it, or how do you stop it or intervene? And nobody wants to think like that because my mom definitely didn't think I was going to be an addict by any means. But when I started drinking and started doing drugs, my mom had to accept it at some point and be like, this is just who my son is. He's got to figure himself out. Like, I can only tell him so many times, I don't want you to drink. I don't want you to do drugs. I don't want you to drink. How have you thought about that? How are you planning on like handling that if that does happen? Hopefully it doesn't. How do you think about those things?
Is this the game?
No.
Okay. No, I know. She got jokes. I know it's not the game. No, I think that's a great question, and I appreciate you asking the heavy-hitting questions.
Yeah.
Only because, like, that's the fucking real shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I'm like, if you're gonna have a podcast about sobriety or anything that's like a heavy-hitting thing, it's like, ask the question,
No,
right?
100%.
I think the biggest thing that I can instill in them is self-worth and self-power. So when you have a sense of self-worth, it doesn't matter if everybody else is going, the dress is blue. You're able to go, dress is black, but cute that you think it's blue.
Yeah.
And you can keep it moving. That doesn't mean that me doing that it'll eradicate any of their own experience or what they're here to do. But I definitely think that it is the strongest defense against losing yourself to an addiction because you know who you are.
Yeah.
Again, it's a blanket statement. I know plenty of people who've known who they are, of course.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, in my experience, I think that's definitely the biggest thing.
That's hard. I don't have kids yet, and that is one thing I worry about when I have children is if my kid gets to that stage, how do I handle that? Because do I tell them like, yeah, your dad used to be an alcoholic, your dad used to be on drugs? Like, do I tell them that, or do I just like let them live and figure it out themselves? You know, that is one thing that does scare me. So I've never asked the parent this before.
I mean, I think it's a good thing to be scared of. Fear is a good thing.
For sure.
We were scared of the dark because we're wolves, right?
Yes,
we lived outside.
yes.
Fear is a good thing, but at least in my instance with parenting, it's like, kid asks a direct question, give them a direct answer.
100%.
You know, and of course, there's not exposing your kids to things that they don't need to be exposed to, but there is the real reality of like, you know, kids are smart.
They are.
And it's like, everyone's like, oh, they don't. I'm like, they fucking know. They're smart. They also don't have all the other shit that's blocking their own intuition, their awareness, and their knowing. So I think that's just really the biggest thing for me is like really nailing that in for them. And yeah, I think absolutely it should be like, dad almost died. So maybe have a thought.
Don't do that
before you're throwing them back.
Don't do that.
Okay?
Don't do that. All right. So I want to. You played Would You Rather, right?
Of course.
Okay, it's one of my favorite games. One of my favorite games to play. So this is Would You Rather Sober Edition. Okay. Yes. So I'm gonna go. I got 6.
Okay.
We're gonna go down. You just let me know, and they're gonna increasingly get worse or better. I don't know. I haven't read these yet. So this would be.
I'm sitting up for this.
Yeah, this would be interesting for both of us.
Okay.
All right. First, would you rather take a mystery shot or text your ex, "I miss us"?
Oh, mystery shot.
Would you rather take a mystery shot or stay sober and single?
Oh, I'll say stay sober and single.
Okay. All right. Would you rather stay sober and single or know how everyone feels about you?
Oh my God. Sober and single.
Would you rather stay sober and single or know the exact moment you peaked?
Oh my God. Sober and single. Don't tell me any of this shit.
Would you rather stay sober and single or let a stranger go through your camera roll on your phone?
Oh, get in that camera roll.
Okay.
Get in it. Get in it.
All right. Would you let a stranger go through your camera roll or share your browser history from last year?
They would be so bored by me. Get in that browser history. You'd be like, how many different types of plaid did she look up? What a fucking loser. You know? Yeah, get in there.
I love it. I
Get
love
in
it.
there.
So here on Finally Sober, the way we end all of our podcasts is I'm going to give you what I call a sober 60.
Okay.
And a sober 60, you're going to look right in that camera and you're going to give your younger self, you're going to tell your younger self something. And you're also going to give motivation and inspiration to somebody that's also going through their sober journey or who is wanting to start and get sober. So I'm going to give you your sober 60, Rachel, and the time starts now.
You already know all of the answers that you need. You already know. That's what makes this so hard because you know you don't need to do it again. You know that you're doing it because you don't want to have to face this thing or it's not fair. Guess what? It probably wasn't fucking fair. It wasn't fair that they left. It wasn't fair that they were there, but they weren't there. It wasn't fair that other people, none of it was. It wasn't fucking fair. But it doesn't mean that you should keep throwing yourself under the bus over and over and over again because there is a life that exists on the other side and you don't have to know how all of it pans out. If you would have told me everything I know now about my life when I was sitting on that porch just like so sad waking up on the first day of being sober, I would have not been able to handle the magnitude of what my life is now. So all you have to do is what is the next right thing, and that's all you need to know. And if anything I know, if I can fucking do it, you can do it, okay? There's plenty of people that are here to help, so take care of yourself, be loving to yourself, and it's not everything, it's just life, and you can handle it. Love you, mean it.
Get it up! Rachel, that was probably the best one we've had so far.
Oh my God, well, the people pleaser in me likes to hear that.
Yeah,
So
that
what I heard is I won, so thank you. Thank you so much.
I want to say thank you so much. This conversation really was amazing. To say the least, because dude, sitting down with you and actually having somebody like an older sister in the sobriety game, if that makes sense, you know what I mean? Like sitting down talking to somebody that's been through it longer than I have, you know, and it's still going through the struggles that I know I'm probably gonna have to face down the line in this sobriety journey. And it feels good to hear that, yo, you're gonna be okay. Don't worry about this. Everything's gonna be good. Just continue to get one step at a time.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Every step that you take, just letting you know that God has his hand up under your foot and knowing that it's gonna be okay. So it feels good to hear your story and to hear that somebody made it out and they're still making it out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And because I struggle with that to this day, even a year and a half in, I'm still like, damn, am I doing enough? I'm sober. Like, shit, the door's supposed to be opening and this is supposed to be happening. This is supposed to happen. It's like, no, dog, you're sober. You're here now. You're already here. You've already defeated that hill. Now let's stay here and let's enjoy this ride. Let's enjoy the sober ride. So I appreciate you a lot. Yeah, I appreciate you.
No, thank you. And thank you for doing this. And thank you for taking like your own, as I define it, like your pain, your experience and like alchemizing it. I think that's people are like, what's the meaning of life? And that's what I believe it is like that we take our life experience and we showcase it to say, this is what I've learned. Does this resonate with you? And that's what we're here to do. So I'm just grateful to you.
Now, do you want to, where can they, what's the website for Skewed Orbits that they can go book it? Yeah.
If you want to find out more about Skewed Orbit, you can go to skewedorbit.com. You can find us on social media at Skewed Orbit Studios. We've got great SEO, so you can't miss us. If you want to learn more about me, you can't not find me on the internet. You're welcome. My name is Rachel LaForce. You can find me on TikTok, YouTube, and Instagram at Rachel LaForce. And for all my offerings, you can go to rachel.laforce.com. And if you want another podcast, you can listen to Healing is Hilarious. It is available anywhere that you find your podcasts. And it's a transformational podcast from a comedian because, well, healing is hilarious.
Hello, healing is hilarious. And that is why I'm here. Because and this has been Finally Sober. Thank you all so much. We'll be back. Happy holidays to everybody. I love you all. My name has been Rondell with 2 N's. Till next time, my people, stay safe and stay sober. Peace.